Hello everyone, welcome to Business Analytics with Power BI, and I am Sudhir here. As promised in my last blog post around Gartner's Magic Quadrant, Business Intelligence and Analytics, I am creating this video to demonstrate how did I actually created that report or the dashboard, whatever you call it, with a play axis on it. And here it is what we are going to create. Hope you remember this. And this is how it works. And if you want to play a performance of any specific company, you can also select it and then play it. And this is how it runs. All right, so let's get rolling. So I have already launched my Power BI desktop. I assume that you already are aware with Power BI desktop software. If not, I'll be covering that part somewhere in the future. Now let's get data into the Power BI, and I have stored the data in Excel sheet. Let's click on that. For our convenience, I have stored it on the desktop. So let's connect to the data. Here is the data sheet. I have got two sheets in my Excel sheet. The sheet 1 actually contains the scores of different companies over year on these two axes. If you see here, completeness of vision and ability to execute on a scale of 20. Few people have asked me where did I find the data. So from 2010 to 2017, I got this data from powerbi.com. I tried finding the exact source link. I could not find it. But since I had stored it, I extended this data with 2018 numbers, which I deduced based on 2018 Magic Quadrant. You see it here on the scale of 20, 0 to 20 here on the x-axis, which is completeness of vision. Similarly on this axis too, which is ability to execute. And this sheet 2 has been derived from the sheet 1, which basically shows how many times a specific company has been on leaders quadrant between 2010 and 2018. Now we can directly load the data into the Power BI desktop, but before loading, I want to perform some basic checks whether data looks fine or not. So I click on edit, which takes us to query editor, Power Query Editor. Let's do that. If you notice, it has launched it here. Let's go to sheet 1. First change the name of the sheet itself, something like Gartner Magic Quadrant data 2010 to 2018. And if we see different fields and their types, they look absolutely fine. Let's change the sheet 2 to leaders quadrant 2010 to 2018. Here also, once again, the company looks like a text field and the number is in decimal format. Click enter and then close and apply. Once we close and apply, the data from Excel sheet or query editor comes back and loads into Power BI desktop. Here we can see the different fields which were available into the first table and then the second table. We can also check this data into data view. If you see here, and relationship, I have not established a relationship here. Um, Now let's move to the first dashboard or the report, which is actually with the play axis, the main one. For that, we'll be using scatter plot. Let's try to maximize it a bit. We'll be using some space for headers later. If you see here on this scatter plot, we have multiple fields, and fields of our interest are legend, x-axis, y-axis, and play axis. If you try to remember the magic quadrant, ability to execute is on y-axis, completeness of vision is on x-axis. We have to put companies into the legend section, and then play axis will be our year. So as we click on the play, the data moves or the visual moves from year to year. So far this looks fine. Let's move to little formatting now. If we talk about formatting, here it does not look good, so we can get rid of legend. X-axis looks to be fine on 0 to 20, but still we'll specify it clearly. So for that, we'll click on x-axis, start at 0 and end at 20. Not just that, since we know that it will be on a scale of 20, so we'll try to take the x-axis off. I mean, at least the numbers off. Similarly, we'll do for y-axis. We'll take it off, but we'll set the start and the end numbers 0 and 20. Apart from this, the bubbles does not indicate which bubble belong to which company. So we'll make this category on, and that's how company name appears next to the bubble or the dot. Um, Quickly, we'll try to work on the title here. I am fine with the completeness of vision and ability to execute by company in here. This is okay. This looks to be fine. Let's make it white with a background of light gray, centered, and text size to 12, for example. This looks fine. Now, if you see the magic quadrant, there are these two lines which are lying at the center of both the axes. Let's try to bring that on, and for that we'll have to go to analytics space, option, and we'll set the constant lines x and y, and the constant line will be at the middle, so that will be at 10. Similarly for y-axis, and if you see here, the axis has absolutely come in the middle of this report, of this visual. So this looks to be fine as we expected. Now let's move to two more quick visuals, and next one is which company appears on leaders quadrant how many times. For that, we'll be using this chart type. um, Looks to be fine, and we'll be using this table here. So we'll move company to axis, and number of time in leaders column will be in values. Once again, little formatting here. This is fine, this is fine. Data colors, if we talk about, let's make the data colors to purple, for example. And if we want to the top performing company, Microsoft, for example, let's make it to this color. Apart from that, we'll also like to have the data labels. So which company appears how many times in the readers quadrant, and the position will set to inside center. Finally, to title, same way, center, 12 font size, white text with little gray background. Now we can also change the text, the title a bit. So number of times in leaders quadrant, sorry, title text. And leaders quadrant. Now let's copy this one and paste it for our next visual. Here we'll be using this table. We'll use company from this table instead of the other one. And here will be, oh, I missed it. We have to create one more measure actually to create the combined score. If we see into this dashboard, we have to calculate the combined score of 2018. So for that, we'll create a quick measure, and the measure says combined score 2018. We'll be using sum x, which actually evaluates the sum of each row for the selected columns. And the first entry for sum x is a table, and the table is this table where our data is lying. We want to add these two specific columns. So let's guard. So this is the table that we'll be using, and we have to calculate the values only for 2018. So let's select this year column from this table, which is equals to 2018. And if the year is 2018, the value should be sum of ability to execute, which is this one, plus this one. So ability to execute plus completeness of vision. If you see here, IntelliSense identifies all these fields on its own, so you hardly type few letters of what you want to be there, and it already shows it to you, and you just select it. So as I told you that if the year value is 2018, we are getting the sum. If not, we are not doing anything for other years. And we close those two parentheses, and that's it. Here we have our combined score for 2018. And we'll be bringing it back here to values column. And here we see. Now, a little bit of formatting once again for this visual. This looks fine. Data colors, I'll make it to blue instead. And for Microsoft, let's make it this once again. Finally, we'll try to change the title and number. Instead of that, it's combined score 2018. Yeah, and that's it. This is the visual that we were trying to create. Finally, we'll finish it off with few more modifications as we see into this one, like inserting the background Gartner logo in the background, plus this header, plus this line, and we'll quickly finish them off. So first, let's try to draw the line. For that, we have to go to shapes. Oh, no, sorry. Shapes and then line. Let's bring it over here and drag it until here. This clearly separates these two sections of the visuals. Title, so text box, sorry, text box once again, and we try to take it, come on, take it to here. All right, let's try to bring it here. Background should be on. Clear the colors, select the color as this one, for example. In the center, text probably this is 828, bold, Gartner Magic Quadrant 20102 2018, and of course it's for business intelligence and analytics. Finally, one more thing, which is background. So please don't select any of these visuals or boxes or lines. Instead, try to click somewhere else, go to this formatting pane, page background, add an image for the background. I've already once again saved this logo here. Change, keep the transparency. If you see here, it gets more darker, but keep it to around 90%. And then image fit should be fill. That's how you can see the complete logo on the page. And that's it. Let's try to play our play access. So as I promised you to create this visual for you, here it is. Um, and if you want to see the performance of any specific company, how they have performed over years, where have they been on the quadrant, this is how you basically run it. And that's all. Thank you so much. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Do not forget to leave your comments, your likes, so that I can keep on creating such videos and writing relevant